tilt it down a little bit so we can see. Get my brush loaded up. And that's where we're going to start doing the shell. Just get a thin layer on here. Then we'll run it over with a second coat here in a little bit. What I like doing on this kind of stuff, larger models, is just hit the outside, get the initial line good on them, and then come back over with a second coat. So like thin coat and then come back and really come in with some color on these. And I don't use the best brush for putting on my first layer. It's kind of just like a, I want to call it thick. I think it's just something to get on here to put actual color in and get a good amount of paint on there so we have the base layer done. I just want to make sure I get all the main edges really well. That way it's a little bit cleaner whenever I come in with the second coat, because I focused on my edges and everything and really got it. Because again, it's all we're doing is just basing right now, or the base level coat on here. And there's going to be a lot more to this model other than that once we start doing more detail stuff. But let's make sure I get everything at least covered. The main portions of it covered at least. That way when I do come in with the second coat, it all looks good. And I want them to be more of like a, I guess, alien. Like when I think of Tyranids, I always remember, like, I saw it forever ago. It was Armageddon, I believe. And it was red Tyranid like colors. They didn't have the purple in there. And so I just think about like the red with the white as like, that's Tyranids to me. Of course, you have the High Fleet Leviathan is like the main, most well-known Tyranid stuff. But like, I don't want to be, just like everyone else. Because anyone can come in with a white and purple Tyranid swarm. That's just cookie cutter, We want to have our own little unique hive strand and, not be the same as everyone else. So whenever I bring models to the store, it's not 5 people have the same. It's, oh, wow, the other 4 have, Leviathan, but mine is slightly different. And it looks a little bit cooler, a little bit more cool factor to it. Because it's not just like all the rest. But yeah. Make sure I get all the surfaces red. I actually like painting the armor on these Tyranids. I think it's pretty satisfying because it's kind of easy, in all honesty. Like, Tyranid armor is fairly easy to paint. And I'm probably getting ripped in the comments like, you're painting too fast or whatever, but these are tabletop paint jobs. I'm not winning a golden demon or something. Like, obviously I would like to be able to paint like that. And I think later on I'll be taking a little bit more time. This is just like the weekend warrior setup. Like, we're getting it so we can play a game on either Saturday night or Sunday. Like yesterday, I bought it Friday night, put it all together, and sprayed it with the primer for black. And then now we're, hitting the rest. Trying to make sure we get all the edges. And so already putting on the thin coat, like you can see it still bleeds through with the black. So whenever I hit it with a second one, once this dries good, which this paint dries really quick, so it's not that long of a painting process. I just gotta make sure I get like the initial, like in between the little weird spots covered good. So whenever I come back over to repaint this, like, it actually covers the black. And yeah. One thing I need to invest in is probably a wet palette. I've seen that, but I've been just putting out a little bit of paint at a time, and I'm not, I guess it's expensive, the paint, but like, I don't know. I just don't see the initial, you're just going to get into this hobby to see if you like it. And I'm not going to, I wouldn't tell anyone to go out and go buy a wet palette, go buy this, go buy that, just to see if you like it. And you might end up not even liking it. You might end up liking like an Age of Sigmar or something like that better. And I don't want you to just go out and spend a ton of money on this stuff whenever it's not what you actually want. So, but I would say make sure whenever you do this, you do a good job with all your paints. Make sure you're getting everything, red that's supposed to be red, everything that's supposed to be black. Like, make sure you're taking your time. Don't just like go out here and paint everything. And look into the colors. Like I said, whenever I think of Tyranids, like, I think of those old school, like, the red Tyranids in the desert and stuff like that, fighting Black Templars and orcs and stuff. So that's why I went with this color. So get good with one that speaks to you. You might be doing blue and yellow. You might be doing, some off color, some green. I've seen some actually really cool green ones. That I'm kind of like, dude, I almost wish I did something like that. But I mean, I really, whenever I think of Tyranids, I just think of the red. So that's what I went with, is the red Tyranids for me. That way it sticks with like my thoughts on Tyranids. They're supposed to be like a red or a purple. And I don't want to be purple like everyone else. Like at my club, every time you go in there and someone's playing Tyranids, it's purple. The Leviathan. And funny enough, they don't have to, be, lore specific. Like sometimes I could go in there with my red Tyranids and, I can play the Leviathan rules and stuff like that and get that stuff. Like if I don't want to make this a shooty army and I want to go buy a bunch of screamers after this or whatever. So make it unique to you. Make it your own. A little bit more. And these are by Vallejo in the model color acrylics. These are pretty good. I actually got these ones for super cheap. They were $2.50. So $2.50 for this, and it's the exact red that I wanted, which is crazy. I mean, you can't particularly beat that deal. One thing I do have to say about like painting and all that is whenever you're painting, if you make a little mistake and you go over it, like I have black paint, or if you go over the skin on these a little bit, it's all right. Well, 9 out of 10 times you can just take a wiper, your finger, and wipe it, it comes off. But like, don't let that deter you from stopping and continuing and doing what you're doing, and get mad like, oh man, I painted the such and such red and it's supposed to be black. Like, you can take a finer brush. Again, this is me just putting a first level on, to cover up all the hard spiny kind of stuff. So make sure everything's in there good. So I got everything red that needs to be red. I need to go around the little, I guess, smokestacks on the top here a little bit better. or biostacks, I guess you would call these. I don't know. And then you can roll right into your second layer. Sometimes it is nice to just kind of leave it like the skin came out pretty cool. It's got like darker spots, which I'm going to go over some of that, but some of that I kind of want to leave in there so it looks, you know, a little bit more warm, like it's a skin shell, not just like a lobster. When you look at a lobster, like some of those things have like weird colors. Where its skin look like the armor on it is not just a solid color. It's kind of like a foggy kind of shell looking thing. I mean, you want it to be red. You don't want it to be mainly black, bleaching through. It's a thin layer or something, but all right. I'm almost there. Almost there. And then I'll probably go over this one more time because I'm really just using up the rest of the red that I have on here just because it's going to dry out. And I'm going to, I want to get some actual use out of the money that I spent so I don't have just a good amount of paint here just drying out because I was a little lazy and didn't want to finish something up. But yeah, everything's turned out pretty well on this thing, the Psychophage. And apparently this thing is like super good in the game, which I'm kind of happy with. I thought these were called queens at first, like a Tyrannifex or something. See, I'm not like huge into the knowledge or I guess the lore and models on the Tyranids. I know Space Marines pretty well, Space Wolves, some of the Black Templar, but whenever it comes to the Tyranid, I know enough that I can, know what to get next, but I haven't gone so far down the rabbit hole yet, and that's part of this journey is I just want to start out finding, like I knew I need like a big tank kind of, bug, and then have my little Griblies. So that's the Tyranid army. It's a bunch of little Griblies, and then you got big bugs that the little Griblies are running through their feet. So, and this thing came out super cool. Again, it's wet right now, but it's coming out super cool. See how the black needs to, that's just dried. I hadn't gone over that, but like the other side where it's red, and then I'll put some other little detail up inside of there to make it look more skin-like. Yeah, but it's coming in pretty nice. Just a cool all around model. Again, I'm filming on an iPhone, so don't expect my stuff to be so, perfect. But I definitely am pretty happy with how this thing is turning out so far. And then the gaunts, I'm probably going to end up doing something with the gaunts where it's just like a little bit of red on the tops and obviously you got to paint the armor, but just red on that. Not too much on the guns. Those might just stay black. And then I might do like a dry brush, like a white. Sorry, I had the hiccups. Like a white, or I have I think it's Cadian khaki or something like that. I might dry brush underneath, like, or I have like a bone color, a white Vallejo bone color. Then I might just dry brush in real lightly just to get the details to show up on it. And that way they have the hard, that metal top where it's real red. And then the body is kind of that dark with like the lines, like they're real alien looking. Um, because we're not white, so I'm not gonna put in a bunch of detail on that kind of stuff because they're the little gribblies that get blown off the board. But yeah, I'm super excited about this. The Terminators are probably my favorite part of this whole thing. I haven't seen too much about the Flamer Marines, but apparently they auto hit, so that's kind of cool. They don't have to roll. So it's just super cool. And then I'm not sure if I want to do more Space Marine just yet or more Tyranid. I definitely, like I said in the last couple videos, that my brother has some Space Wolves that he'll probably give me. And then I have another buddy that's like, dude, I thought you wanted to do some Chaos Space Marines, because he's getting out of them and he wants to pretty much, it's not give away, but give away his army to me. Just because I'm starting to get into it. I'm really, really liking certain stuff. I've read a couple of the books. I even listened to a whole audiobook on the Fall Acadia, and I'm actually like super excited. Like, I like the Abaddon coming in with all these other factions of chaos, like World Eaters come in, and it's just they're killing off all these guys. Or I guess not World Eaters, Black Legion come in, and they're just killing off everyone. And then, Abaddon's, capital ship that they thought to be destroyed, the Blackstone Fortress, like that stuff is so cool to me. Where it's just this giant like planet eating ship coming in. It's so big that it's just blacking out. It looks like stars coming in, and it's all their ships. So that's just the coolest thing to me, where it just like blacks out the sun, and you can only see in space, like you can't see stars, you just see all the ships. So it's just really cool with all that kind of lore and stuff, with the Black Legion. So I'm debating on what I want to make my Space Marines, what faction. I was thinking Ultramarines, and then I thought, I do like Space Wolves, so I might paint them like kind of that gray blue. And then it would go on with the army my brother is going to be giving me. But again, I don't know. I was also thinking maybe I'll just paint them black or yellow. Apparently yellow is really hard to paint though, but paint them yellow, and then the Sons of Dorn, or what are they called? The name is eluding me right now. I gotta look back up in my book. Imperial Fists. See, I think the White Scars are cool. Just not gonna make them White Scars. There's Iron Hands, Masters of Machinery. You got the Imperial Fist, where they're like real defense. And then you got Blood Angels. And then you have the Ultramarines, which are kind of your vanilla ones that, it's cool. I guess you could play them with anything, but that's why I kind of thought about maybe just doing like that bluish or gray, like all gray armor. Then I can use them as, different factions whenever I go in, or make my own, and do it like that. Also, I think that something would be cool is like to integrate other models from like Space Wolves, like take the Dreadnought from that and the Terminators, and then use my Terminators, and then my the Flamers, and then my Captain, and then we're kind of our own thing, where we're we're a sub chapter, but we use a little bit of the rules from the Space Wolves, but some of the like Ultramarine kind of stuff, kind of my own best of both worlds chapters. But yeah, I think not super cheaty, where I'm taking the best, and those are the only ones I use. But yeah, I think something like that would be kind of cool. Like call them, Wolfborn or something like that, where we can use the Space Wolves. We use most of their rules, except, They don't have to use the word Space Wolf inside of it. They can use some other, little subset thing. Like steal some of the vanilla rules and roll in some of the good Space Wolf stuff with them. But yeah, so that's where we're at. We're gonna be doing this, and then hopefully, I can just get a couple of these big models done, painted up with the red, and then I'm gonna play a game, and I'm gonna go through the actual game on here and all their dice rolls that they do, and just show that to you guys. I think that'd be something cool. That's gonna be it for this one. So this is the Warhammer 40,000. Get started. Middle ground costs you like 120 bucks, and that's with taxes and everything. You can go on to Amazon. I think they're like 100 bucks. I just like to support my local game store, so I went to my local game store, paid that 10 or 20 bucks more, plus your, with your tax on it, you paid 20 bucks more than Amazon. It supports them. I like to go in there. I like to go talk to people. So yeah, that's where we're at, and we'll see you guys on the next one whenever we're playing. Peace out.